4 cheeses you must eat and 4 you should never touch if you're over 60. The battle for your vitality, for the clarity of your mind in your later years, is not fought on a grand stage. It is won or lost in the quietest moments of choice. A single bite of food, a thought you choose to hold. The world presents us with countless illusions, promises of ease that lead to deep disquiet. Do not look away from this. The final cheese I will reveal is not simply food. It is a principle for life itself. You must stay to understand its power. Clouded choices. We must begin by examining the choices that diminish us, the offerings we accept into our temple without awareness. This is not an exercise in judgment, but in cultivating clarity, a sharp and focused mind. Every decision we make about what crosses our lips is either a step towards our own center or a step into the confusing noise of the world. In the modern marketplace, many things are designed specifically to pull you from that center. We first consider the most common of these deceptions, the individually wrapped, highly processed cheese slice. It offers itself as a solution, a symbol of convenience in a world that tells us we are too busy. But we must learn to ask a deeper question. What is the true nature of this thing? Is it born of the earth, of a living animal, of a tradition? Or is it an invention of a factory, an engineered substance made from powders, refined oils, and chemical emulsifiers? Its entire purpose being to mimic the appearance and texture of real food. It is a ghost in the shape of cheese. When we invite an illusion into our body, we invite the quality of illusion into our very being. The body, in its profound and ancient wisdom, does not recognize such a substance as pure nourishment. It sees a foreign puzzle, a complex problem to be solved. It must expend a great deal of its precious energy, the same energy you need for healing, for thinking, for movement, not to build, but to dismantle and defend. This creates a low, subtle hum of chaos within our internal environment. It is like trying to find deep silence in a room where an irritating electrical device is always buzzing. It is a persistent, low-level stress. This type of manufactured food does not just cloud our physical senses. Its influence extends to the mind. It is the perfect fuel for the restless monkey mind, the part of our consciousness that leaps from one easy, brightly colored distraction to the next, never finding substance, never finding peace. It is a choice for shallowness. And then we find a more seductive form of this same principle, the flavored, sweetened cream cheese spreads. Here, the distraction is cloaked in the powerful appeal of intense pleasure. These tubs are often laden with refined sugars, with syrups, with artificial flavors created in a laboratory to be irresistible. They call out to the most primal, least disciplined part of us, the part that seeks an immediate and powerful jolt of sensation. But what is this sensation really? It is a fleeting spike of energy, a chemical thrill that passes in a moment and leaves our system more depleted, more imbalanced than before. It is a hollow promise of satisfaction that is never truly fulfilled, leaving us craving another hit, another spike. By choosing this, we are actively training our entire being, body and mind, to seek out these loud, aggressive, artificial signals of pleasure. And in doing so, we steadily lose the ability to hear the quiet, subtle, and truly nourishing signals of our own natural hunger and satiety. We are conditioning ourselves for addiction. The body, as a result, enters a state of deep confusion. The pancreas is stressed, the blood sugar swings wildly, and the delicate orchestra of hormones that govern our energy and mood is thrown into disarray. The mind, too, becomes accustomed to this high, unnatural level of stimulation. It starts to find the gentle, complex, and subtle tastes of real, natural foods to be uninteresting, even bland. We are systematically and deliberately dulling our own instruments of perception. With every spoonful, we choose loud noise over clear signal. We choose chemical confusion over biological clarity. Each time we reach for such a product, we are reinforcing a deep pattern of seeking fulfillment in something external, in a sensation that is manufactured, fleeting, and ultimately empty. To build a strong house, a resilient temple for our spirit in the later years, the foundation cannot be made of sand and sugar and illusion. It must be made of materials that are real, substantial, and in harmony with the unchanging laws of nature and biology. This is the first step to see the illusion for what it is and to choose to turn away from it. Hidden burdens. The path that seems easiest in the moment is so often the one that leads to the greatest struggle later on. The most difficult discipline in life is to see the future consequences of our present actions. We must therefore become aware of the hidden burdens we place upon ourselves, often without a single moment of conscious thought. Let us look at another offering of this modern world, the powdered cheese product, the kind you find in a shaker canister or a box of instant macaroni, a bright orange dust that promises the flavor of cheese. Here, we have drifted even further from the source, from the truth of what food is. We have taken what was once a whole food and subjected it to an extreme industrial process. We have deconstructed it, broken it down into a lifeless powder, and then added anti-caking agents and other chemicals to preserve it and make it flow from a box. What is the consequence of allowing such a substance into the temple of your body? Imagine you have a complex and beautiful machine, a work of art made of finely tuned gears and circuits, and then imagine you pour a fine, chemical-laden dust into it. The body, this magnificent temple that we have been gifted, is simply not designed to process these industrial inventions. When such a substance enters the system, the body's first priority is not nourishment. Its first priority is defense and decontamination. It is an emergency protocol. The liver, the wise gatekeeper of our internal world, must work overtime. The kidneys are placed under strain. The entire digestive system, a place of profound intelligence, must struggle not to absorb life-giving nutrients, but to identify, neutralize, and expel a foreign, unrecognizable substance. It is a heavy tax we impose on our own vitality. Each time we make this choice, we are spending the precious energy that should be dedicated to rebuilding ourselves, maintaining mental clarity, and cultivating our inner strength. We are willingly, though perhaps unconsciously, choosing to place a heavy and unnecessary burden upon our most vital internal systems. This is an act of internal sabotage. This choice speaks to a profound disconnection from our own physical reality. It is born of a belief that what we cannot immediately see or feel cannot harm us. But the internal world is a vast and delicate ecosystem. It has its own seasons, its own balance, its own life. By introducing these lifeless, chemical-laden powders, we are disrupting that sacred balance. We are starving the beneficial life within our gut, the microbiome that is the very root of our immune system and our mental health that thrives on real, fibrous, whole foods. We are creating an internal landscape where imbalance, disharmony, and chronic inflammation can easily take root and flourish. This is a quiet, slow, and invisible process at first, but its effects over the slow march of years become terrifyingly visible. It is a slow, patient erosion of our foundation, a gradual weakening of the very structure that is meant to carry us through life with grace, power, and dignity. To be a true master of your own house, you must be a vigilant guardian at the gate and be ruthless about what you allow across the threshold. Then we must look at another form of subtle deception, the mass-produced, heavily smoked cheeses. We are not speaking of the true artisan product made with patience and real wood smoke. We are speaking of the industrial version, the block of rubbery cheese found in every supermarket, where smoke flavor is often nothing more than a liquid chemical additive painted on or injected. This is a food that wears a heavy mask. It uses a powerful, dominant and aggressive flavor to hide the poor quality and lack of character in the cheese underneath. It is an appeal directly to our most primal senses that cleverly bypasses any inquiry into the food's true substance or integrity. We are drawn in by the powerful, comforting character of the smoke, and we may fail to notice that the cheese itself is lifeless, lacking the crumbly texture, the crystalline structure, the very soul of a well-crafted cheese. This choice is a powerful metaphor for a dangerous pattern of mind. We can become attracted to that which is loud, forceful, and impressive on the surface, while learning to ignore a fundamental lack of truth and substance within. When we eat these foods, we practice this form of self-deception. We teach our spirit to accept the mask as the reality. In our bodies, this choice introduces yet another set of industrial chemicals that the body must once again identify and treat as hostile invaders. It adds another layer of work, another complicated task for our internal organs that pulls them away from their sacred primary purpose of building, healing, and sustaining us. True strength is rarely loud. True nourishment is never aggressive. It is often quiet, it is simple, and it is honest. By choosing these masked foods, we are practicing the art of ignoring our own intuition. We are training ourselves to accept the surface-level story and to neglect the quiet, essential truth that is always waiting just beneath. Foundational strength. And now we turn. We turn from the path of noise and confusion to the path of silence and clarity. We turn away from that which depletes us and turn towards that which builds us, brick by brick. This is not about a life of grim restriction. It is about joyful, conscious, and deliberate selection. It is about choosing to build a body, a mind, and a spirit that are clear, powerful, and profoundly resilient. The first food on this path of reconstruction is one that carries the wisdom of millennia. A true traditional feta cheese made properly from the milk of sheep or goats. Why this one specifically? Because it is a food that embodies the principle of honesty. Its nature is transparent. Look at its ingredients: pure milk, sea salt, and a living bacterial culture. It is a direct and honest product of the earth, of a living animal, and of a timeless natural process of fermentation that enhances its very nature. When you consume a food with this kind of heritage, you are not just eating, you are connecting yourself to a long, unbroken chain of tradition that has nourished healthy, strong, resilient people for thousands of years. You are partaking in their wisdom. The process of fermentation does not add a chemical burden. On the contrary, it predigests the food for you, unlocking its nutrients and making them profoundly more available to your body. It does much of the work for you. The beneficial bacteria that this process creates become your allies. They join the thriving ecosystem in your gut, becoming an internal army that strengthens your defenses, aids your digestion, and even helps to produce vitamins and regulate your mood. It is a living food. It actively contributes to your internal life force rather than subtracting from it. The healthy fats and high-quality proteins in this ancient cheese provide a stable, clean, and enduring source of energy, not a frantic, sugary spike followed by a crash. It is the kind of energy that allows for calm, sustained focus, the very foundation of mastery in any discipline, especially the discipline of living well. Choosing a food like this is a deliberate act of alignment. You are aligning yourself with the rhythms of nature, with the wisdom of tradition, and with the simple, unchangeable truth of whole, natural foods. It is a profound statement of respect for your own body, your own temple. You are saying to your body, I will provide you with what you recognize. I will give you materials you can use with ease to build and to repair. I will not give you a foreign puzzle or an industrial burden to solve. This single, simple choice sends a ripple of harmony and order through your entire system. The body does not have to engage its defenses. It can simply open up and receive the nourishment. And it is in that state of peaceful, trusting reception that true health is cultivated. This is a foundational stone. Upon such stones, you can begin to build a fortress of health, a structure that will stand strong against the inevitable storms of life and time. Next on this path, we look to a food that embodies the virtues of humility and profound substance, a high-quality, full-fat cottage cheese. We must be very clear here. We are not talking about the low-fat or fat-free versions, which are often filled with gums, starches, and stabilizers to imitate the texture that was lost when the fat was removed. We are seeking the pure, simple form. Look at it, curds and whey. Again, check its ingredients. It should contain nothing more than milk, salt, and living cultures. Its appearance is humble, it is plain. It does not shout for your attention on the shelf. It does not have a powerful, aggressive flavor. It is a quiet food, and yet its inner power is truly immense. It is exceptionally rich in casein protein. This is a remarkable type of protein that is slow-releasing. It provides a steady, gradual stream of essential amino acids to your muscles and tissues over a period of many hours. What does this mean for us in a practical sense? It means sustained energy, a deep sense of satiety, and constant support for muscle preservation and repair, which becomes exponentially more important as we move through the seasons of our life. This is the fuel of true endurance, not the fleeting fuel of a short sprint. In our internal or external training, we come to understand that real, lasting strength is never built in chaotic, explosive bursts. It is built through slow, patient, consistent, and disciplined practice day after day. This humble food is the perfect nutritional metaphor for that sacred principle. It supports a state of calm, steady strength. It sends a message to the body that says, "You are supported. You have everything you need for the long and difficult journey. There is no need for alarm. There is no need for frantic energy spikes and crashes." By consciously choosing this humble, powerful food, we are practicing the cultivation of substance over superficial style. We are deliberately looking past the brightly colored packaging, the loud marketing promises, and the chemical manipulations of the modern food environment. And we are choosing what is real, what is simple, and what is profoundly effective. It is an act of deep and meaningful self-care. It reinforces a mindset of patience, of consistency, and of profound appreciation for the slow, quiet, deep work of building something true and lasting. When you choose cottage cheese, you are choosing the substance of the mountain, not the fleeting, dramatic shape of a storm cloud. This is how you begin to build a true fortress of health from the inside out using materials of integrity, conscious cultivation. The journey to self-mastery in any art is a journey of ever-increasing subtlety. The movements become smaller, the awareness becomes sharper, the choices become finer, more precisely attuned to the quietest needs of our being. This brings us to the next building block in our structure, one that represents a higher level of practice, a pure, high-quality goat cheese, often known in its fresh form as chèvre. Why is this specific choice so significant on this path? It is because this food perfectly represents the profound principle of harmony and of compatibility. For a great many people, goat's milk and the cheese made from it are intrinsically gentler on the human body than cow's milk. The fat globules in the milk are smaller and more uniform. The protein structure is subtly different. The result is that it is often more easily and more rapidly digested by our system. It asks less of us. It is an offering of pure nourishment that can be accepted by the body with the greatest of ease and the minimum of effort. Choosing a food like this is an expression of a deeper practice. It is an act of listening. It is a true act of compassion, directed not outward, but inward, toward your own physical form. Instead of blindly forcing your body to contend with a substance that it may find difficult or stressful, you are consciously and wisely choosing something that works in perfect concert with it. This represents a profound and powerful shift in mindset. You are moving away from a relationship of brute force, of command and control, and into a relationship based on cooperation, listening, and mutual respect. You are beginning to treat your body not as a mindless servant that must obey your every whim, but as a wise and ancient partner in this journey of life. You are learning to listen to its subtle signals. You notice when it feels strained, when it feels heavy, and you learn to respond not with more force, but with a gentle corrective choice that brings it back into a state of quiet ease and metabolic balance. This powerful principle, of course, extends far beyond your choice of cheese. Once you begin to apply this concept of compassionate cooperation to the food you eat, you will find yourself almost unconsciously beginning to apply it to all other areas of your life. You learn to listen more carefully to your mind, to its states of ease and its states of resistance. You learn to listen to your spirit. You start to recognize with great clarity which activities, which relationships, which environments bring you into a state of inner harmony, and which ones create a state of friction and silent suffering. You begin to stop forcing your way through life, and you learn to flow with it. A simple choice in the grocery store, a log of pure goat cheese, becomes a training exercise. It becomes a daily, edible reminder to work with the nature of things, with your own nature, rather than constantly, exhaustingly struggling against it. This deliberate cultivation of internal harmony is one of the most powerful practices available to us for a life of sustained vitality, clarity, and peace. And this brings us to our final destination, our final cheese. And you must understand, this is not merely a food. This is a philosophy. This is a meditation made solid. It is a true, high-quality, authentic Parmigiano Reggiano, one that has been aged for no less than 24 months, and preferably even longer. Why this one? Why is it the pinnacle? You must look past the food itself and see the deep principle that it embodies. This cheese is the physical manifestation of time, of immense patience, and of profound transformation. Its list of ingredients is the shortest and purest imaginable. Raw, unpasteurized milk from a specific region, salt, and a natural rennet. That is all. But this simple substance is then subjected to a long, slow, quiet, and sacred process of aging. For 2 years, 3 years, even longer, it rests in absolute stillness in a dark, quiet cellar. And it is through this process, this embrace of stillness and time, that it transforms. It develops a depth, a character, a complexity of flavor, and a nutritional power that can never be rushed or created by a chemical shortcut. During this long, slow maturation, something magical occurs. Its proteins, once long and complex, are naturally broken down by enzymes into their constituent parts, free amino acids and short-chain peptides. It becomes crystallized. Those crunchy crystals you find are not salt. They are crystallized tyrosine, a testament to this transformation. This means the cheese is effectively pre-digested by time itself, making it an incredibly potent and bioavailable source of nourishment that the body can assimilate with almost zero effort. It contains a powerful concentration of nutrients that are born only from deep patience. When you make the conscious decision to consume such a food, you are not just eating, you are partaking in a living principle. You are consciously honoring the sacred power of patience, of craftsmanship, of slow, natural transformation. You are choosing to ingest a food that is the physical manifestation of the very qualities you may wish to cultivate within yourself: depth, substance, strength, patience, and unshakable authenticity. This single choice encapsulates and summarizes the entire teaching. In choosing this, you are explicitly rejecting the seductive world of the instant, the artificial, the rushed, and the superficial. You are turning your back on the noise. You are choosing instead to align your very cells with that which is real, that which is patient, and that which has been alchemized by the invisible, powerful force of time into something of immense value and substance. This is the ultimate act of self-mastery performed at the dinner table. It is to consciously choose a food not merely for its taste, not for its convenience, but for the profound universal principles it embodies. You must understand that as you choose to build your body with these principles, as you ingest these qualities, you are also inevitably building your mind and your spirit in their noble image. The decision you make is never truly about the cheese. It is always about your awareness. It is about learning to ask the most important questions. Does this choice create a hidden burden for my future self, or does it build my future strength? Does this choice cloud my mind with noise, or does it bring me closer to clarity and silence? Does this choice align with the person I am training myself every day to become? See your plate as a dojo, a training ground for your life. Every meal becomes an opportunity to practice the discipline, the awareness, the patience, and the wisdom that lead to a life of true, deep, and lasting power. Choose with this newfound clarity, and you will build a temple worthy of the serene spirit that inhabits it. I've been following these principles for 3 months. I got rid of the noise, the processed foods, the sugars. I started choosing foods with intention, like you described. It's not about weight. Something deeper changed. The fog in my mind is gone. I wake up in the morning and I feel clear for the first time in years. This isn't a diet. This is how you reclaim your own mind. Thank you, Master.